I have owned 4 cars. I have never once not had a car payment, and I'm 41 years old. That sentence took me a long time to hear properly. 4 cars, 0 months without a payment. I did not do anything reckless. I never bought a sports car. I bought sensible, reliable, mid-range cars every single time, and that is exactly why it took 17 years to notice. Here's the version I understood at 24. A car costs $38,000, which I do not have, so I pay it monthly, and after a few years I own a car. That is not what happens. Not once did that happen. What happens is that around year 3 or 4, the car starts costing money in small, annoying ways, and a new one is suddenly very easy to think about. So you trade it in. And the payment does not end. It just becomes a different payment. 4 times, 17 years, 1 unbroken payment, wearing 4 different names. 17 years. I want to show you the mechanism, because it is not obvious and it is not your fault. $38,000 at 7%. Over 5 years, that is $752 a month, which most people cannot do. So the dealer does something helpful. He stretches it to 7 years, and the payment drops to $574. Same car, same price, $178 a month easier. It genuinely feels like he did you a favor. Now watch what that does at year 3 when you start wanting a different car. On the 5-year loan you owe $16,800 and the car is worth $22,000. You are $5,000 ahead. On the 7-year loan you owe $23,900 and the car is still worth $22,000. You are $1,900 underwater. So when you trade it in, that $1,900 does not disappear. It gets added to the next loan. You start the new car already owing money, and the only way to keep that new payment affordable is to stretch the term again. That is the loop. The thing that makes each car affordable is the same thing that guarantees you will never finish paying for one. There is a second thing happening underneath, and it is bigger than the interest. A new $38,000 car loses about $7,600 in its first year, just by being driven off the forecourt. By year 5, it has lost $22,800. $22,800 for the privilege of being the first person to sit. Somebody pays that. Now, here's the part that reframed it for me. That loss happens whether you're there or not. Somebody has to absorb it. The only question is whether it is you or whether you buy the car afterwards from the person who already did. $550 a month is roughly what I have averaged across 17 years and 4 cars. Over a 30-year working life, that same $550 a month, invested instead at 8%, is $819,000. I'm not going to pretend I would have invested every cent of it, nobody does. So here's the honest comparison, and it is the one that actually changed what I buy a 5-year-old car for about $15,000. Keep it 10 years. Over 30 years, that averages roughly $250 a month, all in. The difference between those two lives is about $300 a month. Invested, that difference is $450,000. $450,000. Not for driving something miserable, for driving a car that is 5 years older than the one I would have. 5 years older. That is the whole trade. I want to talk about why this one is so hard to hear, because I did not want to hear it either. A car is not really a financial object. It is where you sit for an hour a day. It is the thing your children get into. It is also the most visible thing you own. Nobody sees your savings account on the drive. So when somebody says the car is the problem, it does not land as arithmetic. It lands as an accusation about, and I want to be clear, I'm not saying the car is the problem. You need a car. Most people genuinely do. Reliability is not a luxury when your job depends on turning up. The problem is not the car. The problem is the permanence of the payment. Those are completely different things, and only one of them is a choice. I'm driving a 9-year-old car. I bought it 4 years ago, and it is paid off. It has a scratch on the rear door that I did not put there, and the radio only works if you hit it. It starts every morning. And every month, the $550 that used to leave my account does not leave my account. That is the whole change. I did not become frugal, and I did not start cycling to work. I just stopped signing a new agreement every 4 years. One rule, and it is not about money. When the car starts irritating me, I wait a year. That is it. Most of the wanting passes in a year. What is left after a year is usually a real problem, and a real problem is worth paying for. And there's a second bill running the whole time, which almost nobody adds to the payment when they are working out what they can afford. Insurance is higher on a newer car, because the thing being insured is worth more. So is the tax in most places. So is the cost of a single scraped bumper. None of that appears on the finance agreement. All of it appears in your. A friend of mine worked out that his new car cost him $200 a month before he'd driven it anywhere. Insurance, tax, and the finance company's own admin. He had budgeted for the payment. He had not budgeted for the car. So if you're watching this with a payment running, I'm not telling you to sell anything. That is usually the wrong move, and it costs you more. I'm telling you to find out one thing. What month does it end? Not roughly, the actual month. Because everything in this video comes down to whether that month is the end of something, or just the day you sign the next one. I put the boring arithmetic on this channel with the 17 years I wasted left in. Subscribe if that is the version you want.